gonna build Iggy and Scorch's deck and give you the tips on how I tend to go about doing it. Pretty much these kind of steps are transcribable to any character, but we'll use Iggy and Scorch seeing as he's your favorite. So switch and create, because I want to start from the beginning. So here we have the prime card, which for Iggy and Scorch is fairly simple. You pretty much want to pick the Archmage just because the other two deal in physical damage and health, which he won't be using too much, so we start there. So the first step is always to kind of pick your 3 consumables, the 3 that you'll be using at the get-go, and thinking about what Iggy and Scorch kind of does. He's a bit more of a laner, so we'll pick Health Potion, Mana Potion, because he needs that, and the ward over the key, because he's not going to be in the jungles too much, because there's plenty of junglers that will do that, and the Scout Ward will be really, really handy when you're doing the laning and you don't know where anybody's will be, and it'll help with your being surprised and taken advantage of. So those are your first 3 cards that you're going to be using in pretty much every match. So the next kind of step is you move down and try to go for some of these lower cost ones, because as the game picks up, you'll grab one of these and it'll hopefully give you the extra boost towards the beginning of the game. But bear in mind that this card that you pick, or these cards, will be replaced later for bigger and better stuff. So I'm hoping to build Iggy more for his energy damage for those turrets, his cooldown so that he can throw out the turrets as often as possible, and a bit of attack speed, because that'll help him, well, obviously attack more, but it'll also overcome the fact that his attacks are typically kind of weak. So pick my stone gem here, and for every card I pretty much just put 3 upgrades, because that's all you're going to be able to fill it, and it makes it kind of more streamlined and easier when you're starting. And the upgrades for these cards, you kind of want to go low to 1, because at the beginning of the game, this card is really just to kind of get it full, get that fully upgraded bonus, and get the boost of it as quickly as possible. So we'll just pick one of each, and I'll throw one of those. So that's kind of my 1 card. So now we move down to the other ones, which we're gonna want. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. To pick a key and to pick a ward, because while these cards are a bit more situational, you're definitely gonna want to always have a ward on hand, and it's not so bad because the wards have pretty good stats and buffs as well. For example, this one I particularly like, but there's also a few other ones. The Ward's Ward, which has cooldown, which we might use. So, but I'm gonna go with this because I'm hoping to use it for that energy penetration, which again will help boost the fact that he's already a little low. And because this one's gonna be probably staying with us the whole time, we can afford to go big. Maybe not this big, but and there we go. So pretty much every level of card power I gain, I'll be able to add one of these to it. So that's my ward. Now we pick my key. I think I've only got 2 keys. Yeah. So it's between Magnus Key, which has my cooldown, which I like, mana, which is also handy for him to have tons of, or we can try to beef up his actual damage when we're throwing stuff. But we'll go with this. Get a bit more survivability. And again, the key, on the other hand, tends to get thrown away because once the harvester's up, we don't particularly need it no more. So we can still go a bit low so that we can upgrade it. Alright, so we'll pretty much go from these 3 cards which get thrown out, start moving on to these ones, eventually probably keeping at least one of these guys. We might dump them later. So then we move down to kind of the bread and butter cards. These are the cards that we're going to put in the deck, probably geared towards and equip by discarding the other ones, and beef up as much as we can. So for Iggy, we'll start with basic energy damage, and let's see, it's debating between these two. Let's go with that one. So again, we go with 3, 3. Let's go 3. This card as well, because this gives us the 3 things that I was looking for before. But since I intend to gear towards this and I want to keep it, we'll go much bigger on the cost of the upgrades, because the upgrades I get are the ones that I'm going to be keeping for a long time. More. Let's see. Perhaps some crit damage. So, once I start getting close to about 30 of the bread and butter cards that I'm going to use, I switch over to more of the situational ones, and those tend to be my armor. Because at the end of the day, I'm not sure if I'm being beat up by people pounding on me or shooting at with energy. Either way, I add both of these cards in so that they're both there ready. And really, it's for the upgrades, I tend to go a bit low, but also I want plenty of the armor ones. So again, always 3. Don't have the cards I need there. So I'm at 36 now, which gives me 1 more card with 3 upgrades that I added. So for that, I'm thinking this will be kind of the oddball, crazy high card. For example, this one. It's a bit more expensive, which means I probably won't use it, but it'll still be a good kind of throw in there if I find myself with lots of stuff on me. And again, we'll go. And that's it. So again, you start with the 3 cards that you're going to pick up at the very beginning based on how you intend to play them, whether you're in the jungle or running around in lane, which Iggy and Scorch will be doing lane wise. And then you go with the cheap card that you're going to boost up quickly and buy, but eventually replace. You grab 2, a ward and a key, because you may or may not need them. Most likely you'll need the ward, and beef it up good because that thing you'll be keeping. Move on to your bread and butter ones, which I've used for energy damage and energy penetration. And then once you hit about 30 cards in your deck, 28 I believe was the number I ended up with, 28 to 30, we go for the more situational kind of armor things. And while some of these cards might change between characters, for example, Muriel, because she's support, you'll probably want to find your support cards mixed in there. But at the end of the day, you kind of go through these basic steps to build a deck. And that's it. How long did that take me? 10 minutes?